that, or does Facebook take care of that for you?
Well, nope. We're live, by the way. I don't know if you can see that we just went live, but
Very cool.
it's always It's always fun chatting with my buddy Derek.
Yeah, he's a good
But
guy. Ton of energy.
yeah, ton of
Ton of
energy.
energy.
But
He's
yeah, I don't mind.
where
He's
some people would just be shooting bam, bam, bam. He's a shotgun blast all the time. I like it.
he's like a mini gun. What do they call those? So, welcome everybody, ladies and gentlemen, to another live stream. I'm here with my buddy Joseph. And before we get started, I wanted to shout out my buddy Jerome Bassinet, the Beagle Man, and check out his product. There we go.
Check this out. I've been training with it. It tastes like bone broth if you haven't tried it, but I'm not going to taste it right now. I've already done it. I've been training the pup, baby Duchess.
You got a little
with the squirt guns.
Oh, so you put it in the squirt guns, huh?
Put it in the squirt gun, use it as my applicator. This squirt gun works a little bit better. What I was hoping for on this one, and it didn't work out quite as planned, is it's a kind of like a 1911 type deal. So it has an actual click when it shoots. It's got a slide and a release. So it has a click, but the problem is the click's at the same time as the delivery. You need the click before the delivery.
That's right. Click release, right? Instead of click and
click release. I was trying to create a clicker squirt gun.
So if you guys don't know, this is Doggy Raid. Okay, it's hydration and prebiotics for all dogs. Okay, electrolytes for fast hydration, specially formulated for dogs by veterinarians. A non-GMO, no artificial colors or anything, and hypoallergenic. And my dogs absolutely love it. I'll put a link in the comments where you guys can get this. It's available in the U.S. And if you're interested in becoming a dealer, contact Jerome, and hopefully he'll join us here. And
good man, great product.
Good man, yeah, excellent product. And let me while I'm thinking about it, let me put a link to the. It's basically usdoggyraid.com. Here, I'll post up a link. us.doggyraid RADE.com. And here, let me copy it, and then I'll scroll it down on the bottom here as well. So here's the link to that one, and then let me.
Well, to share this, I just share the link, right?
Share the. Do you see me? Do you see us streaming live right now? Yep. Just share, and then save, and then this is the show usdoggyraid.com for your doggy. It's basically Gatorade for dogs, man. Gatorade for dogs, bone broth flavored. And not only that, but they also are having some, I believe they have one for cats as well. And let me get a little bit here. Yeah, they have Kitty Raid. So let me show you guys here what they got. Kitty Raid, Doggy Raid, and then a topper for the food right here. Looks like a Yummy Raid. So it's all good stuff. Check it out. And
I can say in a survival situation, if you need to use it, you're going to need garlic and onions for the humans. Very well made product, no garlic and onions for the dogs. So it's good for their digestive system. My pup and my dog love it, but needs a little salt and some garlic and onions for me.
Beautiful. Yeah, no garlic or onions for those dogs. Even though my dogs have probably had plenty of garlic and onion throughout their lives with all the crap that I've given them. And then check out on Saturday. It's Thursday now, and on Saturday I'll be doing a live stream with Active Power founder Dr. Ravi Iyer, and we're going to be talking about his product, Active Power Atlas. And this stuff is unbelievable, you guys. So performance supplements for dogs, and this stuff, I've seen dogs really turn corners that have been having health issues that they've been dealing with. So we're going to get into this product and a lot of other products that Dr. Ravi has created. And so check that out. Have you had any experience with this stuff, Joseph?
I have not. I hear great things, and the stuff I've read about Dr. Ravi, very smart man. Very smart man. But yes, I know trainers that have used Atlas and have had huge improvements with their dogs.
Yeah. I can't wait to talk to him because I've heard so much. And then
you used it, Bill?
I have not, but I have older dogs now, and I'm going to. I mean, this is mostly, it looks like joint muscle total wellness support or supplement, right? And so, especially for these performance dogs, my dogs are they're pet dogs. I haven't really been out in the field with them too much. But in the summer, especially, I'll be using it more. Um, and if you guys like what I do here with these free live streams, consider supporting me on Patreon at bowwowbills.com. I do have some exclusive content, exclusive interviews, and I'm actually going to get Joseph to give me an exclusive interview on Patreon as well. So we'll share the secrets on the Patreon. You can join it for as little as $5 a month. And
I have some stories I was hoping to share today. They're PG-13, so we'll see if we can get the R-rated or X-rated version on the Patreon.
that a boy, that's what I like to hear. So check me out on Patreon, and then let me shout out. So we have April is April Chesterfield. We have Shay Spradley is one of my $20 supporters. We have Amy from Reflective Canine, one of my $20 supporters. Surinder Punya from he has a beautiful Mastiff. He's one of my $20 supporters. Yeah, Sheila G is one of my $20 supporters. And thank you all. Thank you. And then Ken Fisher has been one of my $20 supporters. And then also Jerry Eakins. JD is one of my $20 supporters as well. You guys are awesome. Thank you so much. I'm meaning to shout out my $20 level like it is a benefit on Patreon. So consider supporting me there. And while I'm going to post that link in the comments as well. And so Joseph, I'm going to share this on my personal page on Facebook. And while I do that, who are you? Do you want to introduce yourself? Tell people who you are, where you're located, and what you're all about?
That'd be wonderful. My name's Josef Scherer. I'm in St. Louis, Missouri. I also have a home in Bourbon, Missouri. Gold schools are going to be happening out of Bourbon. There's a lot more land and room, so that will be the sweet spot. I am the son of a German immigrant. My mom and dad met doing German folk dancing. My dad was part of a group called the Schützenverein, which was a German shooting club, big time hunter, and he loved his Weimaraners. So he bred Weimaraners and hunted with them. At 18 years old, I found ballroom and Latin dancing, and it was quite a rush. I loved it. It was a great experience, lots of fun. I loved teaching. I loved dancing. I loved competing. 2000, I was top teacher in the United States in the Dancers Cup circuit tour.
No kidding.
In 2009, I was second place top teacher, and my studio was first place studio for the whole of the United States. It was a great run. Danced until I still can dance. I still do dance. I don't teach dancing. The problem being an endorphin dog, as Bart would say, instead of a dopamine dog, without that thrill of competition, the dancing didn't hold enough for me. It was too simple in the mind for the level I had achieved. But it was a lot of fun while it lasted, and great to be in an industry where 2% of the men are straight, or 2% of the men are straight, and being amongst that small amount with tons of beautiful women. It was a great young man life story.
And dude, I used to dance too. A lot of people don't realize that. I used to be in ballet
I did.
myself.
We talked about that at the New Silver School. I don't remember what type of dancing you did though.
Ballet. I was in the Nutcracker for 3 years, right, as a young child. And I just found somebody was telling me that it would make me a better skateboarder, make me a better football player, and make me more agile. And dude, being part of the 2% straight, and even as a little boy, I loved it. I was loving it, dude, being around all the girls, and I come from a family where I'm the only boy out of a bunch of girls too, and so I prefer the company of women. I kind of I just grew up that way, and so it was awesome experience, and there's no way I could do it now. I actually I was doing hot yoga, and they had a bar class where that it refers to the bar, the ballet. It kicks your ass, man. I challenge anybody.
It's brutal.
Dude, it's so brutal, bro. Like it is like hot yoga sucks anyway, and I need to get back into it. I'm starting to get back into shape myself, and and I'm at the suck period right now. So I'm also Catholic, and for Lent, I've given up a lot of the indulgences that I've had as far as food is concerned, and I've been working on getting myself back into shape and sacrificing
I
my
thought you were going to say you
comfort.
gave up hot yoga for Lent.
Yeah. Do you know what I used to tell people? What I give up for Lent? Being Catholic. That's what I would tell people.
Right. That is the easier way out.
Yeah, totally. I'm like, I'll be see you on Easter. But yeah, I used to do ballet, and it's a challenging, it's a challenging sport. It's definitely what I like about it, and what I like about dog training, and what I like about skateboarding is that you are the the creator, right? You are the maestro. You are the one that is I mean, in dog training, you're working at the dog, but you are the one that is trying to communicate with that animal. And it's a very individualistic type of experience. Do you know what I'm saying, Joseph?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. There's a quote, and I forget who says it, but it's something along the lines of dance does not is not an abstraction of life. It doesn't show what life is. Dance actually is life. And skateboarding would be another one of those, feeling of movement. You're part of that art. You can't separate yourself from the art, which is a strange thing in dance and skateboarding, any of these kind of art genres. The critiques are much harsher because if you're being critiqued, you're being critiqued. It's not the painting on the wall.
Yes.
So people tend to get more emotional, a little more worked up. But yeah, it's a beautiful thing. It's a beautiful thing.
And while we're here, man, we got guess who we got joining us?
Jerome.
Yeah. So the founder
Hold
and
on, let me get my badge out.
yeah, there we go. There you go, buddy. Jerome, let me know if you're going to be in Missouri, man, for the next Silver School. I hope so. And I was not going to go to the Silver School, but the guys, I've decided to go, so I'll be there. I'll be in Missouri here in a couple weeks after coming back from Costa Rica with a 20-year anniversary with my beautiful wife.
20 years.
20 years, dude.
Damn, dude, that's a long time.
Isn't that crazy? And
That's
so
awesome. That's awesome.
yeah, I'm stoked, man. I can't wait to go there and do nothing. And my only concern is my dogs here, leaving them here. My neighbors are watching my dogs, and thank you to my neighbors. And but they're dogs, man. They're gonna be okay, and we got to run for them, and they're gonna be keeping an eye on them. And then Weimaraner, wasn't that the gray ghost? Doesn't it mean gray ghost in German?
Yes, yes,
Right. A lot of
yes.
people don't realize it's a German breed, but
And Robbie has some, and man, his dogs are impressive. Or Kashi, sorry,
yeah,
Kashi has
Kashi.
some beautiful lines.
Yeah. And shout out to my friend Heather. Heather and I were just talking all
What's up,
morning.
Heather?
She's awesome. She's going to be in Missouri as well. And you guys were locking down the dates and getting our curriculum together for Heather and I are going to be doing a joint gold school. And I'll be announcing those. And I'll probably be announcing as soon as I get the, we have to submit and get um, the graphic from the school itself, and then once we have that, then I'll be announcing that. Yeah, can't wait to see you either. Heather's one of the good ones, man, and I just enjoy getting to know her better and better as we talk about dogs, and just can't wait to do some events with you, Heather, and can't wait to hang out with you in Missouri as well. So
I just met her at the last new Silver School, and funny story with Heather. I was getting a Diet Coke. The rest of the multiplicators were around having cocktails. Heather walked in the room. I had just squeezed a lemon into my Diet Coke, and I hadn't met her. She was offering a hand. Well, I had lemon and Diet Coke all over my hands, so I said, "Oh, let me give you a hug." I just squeezed a lemon, and I gave her a hug. And apparently, in Heather slang, that meant that I just went to the bathroom and my hands were still wet. So the table had a giant laugh, and lemon squeezy is now a real thing. I've not looked up urban slang to see if it's real, but hey, what have you?
she's loving it. Yeah, I just met her too, and we hit it off, man. She's a smart gal, and she knows
Very
what she's
smart.
talking
Very smart.
about. And way to make a first impression, she says. Dude, I said that. I mean, and it's women forget. Well, that men are different when we go to the bathroom, because I remember I was chopping up peppers.
Oh no.
Yeah. And I went out, and my friend was making hot sauce, and that's what we were chopping up the peppers for. And then I get this look on my face like, oh no.
Oh.
And I forgot to wash
Oh.
before. I washed after, but not before. And then she was like, "Oh yeah, you guys actually touch." And I'm like,
Right.
"Yeah." And I'm
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
girls don't do that, you know, but guys, they do, man. It's very interesting.
I've had that with icy hot and stuff like that with dance injuries. I had a really bad one though, a different route. Dave's insanity sauce, super super hot sauce. I
Oh,
love
I know
spicy
it.
food, so why would I read an instruction? Like, really, there's an instruction label on hot sauce. It's hot sauce. So I grabbed the hot sauce. I got a pot of stew, and I put this whole half a bottle of Dave's insanity sauce in the stew. I take a bite, and I could not breathe. 20 seconds. I thought I was going to fall over, hit the floor, and die. I finally cleared my lungs. I have asthma, but it's not bad. I normally don't have problems unless I'm sick. But the asthma kicked up, and I finally went and got the bottle, and it's Capsin. So it's basically
Pure
mace.
capsaicin. Yeah.
Yeah, it had instructions for 2 drops per pot of stew. I used half the bottle. I was in bad shape. I was in bad shape.
Yeah, it's like that Pacquiao challenge chip, and it killed a kid, so they stopped making them. But yeah, some of that is no joke, dude. Like I used to love watching those videos. I still do, where they get people to eat these chips, and these people they're hating life, bro. They're out there with the garden hose. they're doing everything, and I'm a big fan of spicy, but not too spicy, man. And there's that fine line. I actually like to go to the line, you know, to where I can handle it. But once it gets too much, and I could tell by the follicles on my head when I eat something like that's too much, like my hair follicle. It's like a weird, you know how the hair on the back of your neck stands up? Like I feel like this tingly on my head. It's very interesting. But
My line, I can go right up to and a little bit across. I like it to hurt a little bit. I don't like when it hurts coming out the next day.
you got to put
So that's the line that I don't like. It
put
should burn only once.
toilet paper in the freezer when that happens.
Brilliant, Bill.
That's
So I
why I'm
should say,
here.
all the gold multiplicators are smart people. It's just how we choose to use it.
Yes, yes, and we're all different, man. You know, we all have a piece of the puzzle, and that's what I tell people. Like, look, I'm not a working dog guy. I'm a pet dog guy, right? And so I bring that aspect to it. And a lot of this is we're reverse engineering to find out how our clients got our dog so crazy rushing the door, or so crazy pulling on that leash, right? As a pet dog person, when I'm working with my ice cream after your meal, just have to eat it in reverse.
I'm not sure I want to know what that means.
You know.
Can you chew sitting down?
I'm sorry, you guys. I'm being juvenile today. But yeah, like as a pet dog person, my owners of dogs that aren't trading their life to work with dogs, they don't care about all this terminology. They just want your help, right? And so that's the other thing is like, it's good to know this stuff, and it's good to have a collective knowledge base. But this is like the highest end knowledge base that we've received from the NAPOPO schools. And sometimes we can kind of turn our clients off as pet dog trainers by
I
speaking
think a lot
over
of
them.
people fail there. I think a lot of people fail there. You have to dumb it down for the client. The results matter. If you are fixing the dog and they have enough of understanding that they can maintain those fixes or continue progress, the terminology, all these things, most clients that doesn't matter. My specialty in dance, and I succeed a lot with. I'm actually going to put this one out here. Here's a hot contested subject. Bill, is it NAPOPO or NEPOPO?
NAPOPO. It's actually
If you look up
NAPA because positive, right? Negative, positive. So
If you
NAPA.
look up "nay papa" or "nay popo" on Google, hey, it doesn't know what you're talking about. You look up "nepopo," it's right there on Google. So right there, I'm dumbing it down for my clients already, because if they look into it, I want them to be able to find what I want them to look
Oh,
for.
knee popo. That's right. Knee, like if they're
Google will find Nepopo. It will not find Nepopo.
because they neigh. They think it's neigh when
I
they
mean, if
hear it.
I'm teaching, I will say nay for the negative. But if I'm doing a quick sale, and a lot of people, my transition, I got a lot of stories. We'll put some of these on Patreon, but to give you a kind of an easy one, I got a new dog, a dog that got me into training at Pass. Got a new dog, was training him, and the neighbor saw me doing a lot of training. They brought a baby home from the hospital. They had a trainer working with them. The trainer did nothing right. The dog went after the baby. So they came over and said that we see this dog doing everything you want in the street. You think he can help this?
Mm.
And I thought, yeah, actually I can. So dumbed it down, did what I needed to do with the dog, explain this much to them, but it was enough that they understand the rules. And the dog got saved. Baby got saved.
Amen.
But if you
And
went into teaching it the way we know it and the way we teach other trainers to know it, you're going to lose most people.
yeah,
However, what should be taken into big account, if you teach it properly, if the dog succeeds, why is no one talking about the cost benefit of NAPOPO, if you will? We save, even though we may be the best trainers on the planet and we're trained and we charge accordingly, at least I do, but we save so much money for the client.
yeah. And people, I mean, I don't even want to get at how we do save that money, man, between and not just money, Joseph, but peace of mind, dude. That's what I tell them. I was like, look, I don't board dogs. I don't really train them. I provide you peace of mind that you have confidence and you can trust your dog. Because it boils down to that relationship and how you feel, and you can't put a price tag on peace of mind, in my opinion, man. And so yeah, you're saving them money in the stuff that you're going to mitigate and avoid with like medical bills and neighbors suing you, dude. I had a client whose neighbor sued him for $600,000, right? and and they said that luckily he did none. He had a good lawyer, and the average is what, 40 grand is what these things settle out for, right? And so and what I'm talking about is like if your dog bites somebody, a stranger or somebody. This guy was knocking on the door, the dog came out and bit his ankle, and it wasn't even that bad. It was a boxer, but he sued him for $600,000, and it was very, very affluent neighborhood. um but even without the money aspect, that peace of mind, the well-being, the quality of life, that's what we're providing, and that's what I'd like to believe that I provide. And so what is that worth to them? And so I charge a premium, absolutely. And the reason I charge a premium is because I want it to be worth something to them. If you're always giving stuff out, a lot of times what you're giving out, unless it's a gift, if it's worth exactly what people have paid for. And so if you're giving out stuff willy-nilly and for free, it's usually, a lot of times, it's not worth anything for the people that have received it, unless it is truly a gift for them.
You have the skills to back that up. I have the skills to back that up. I learned this very early on in the dance world, being the top teacher in the United States in 2000. Training students, I would have coaches come in. I have probably had more coaching than most of the dog trainers on the planet. We would bring coaches in from England, Russia, Italy, all the time. 2 coaches a month for 3 to 4 days at a time. For 28 years, I did competitive ballroom and Latin dance. I would be teaching my students because I knew what was going on. The coach would come in. So now they got my price tag and the coach's price tag, plus travel expenses, meals, hotel, all this stuff. And the coach would say the exact same thing I'd been saying for a month. And they would hear it because it cost $400 instead of 175.
Yeah, that's like with my clients, that the mom is telling them this whole thing the whole time, but then I come in and say the exact same thing that mom just did,
Exactly.
and they're like, "Well, how
Exactly.
come you're listening to Bow Wow?" And I was like, "Cause I'm Bow Wow. I'm not mom, right?
I'm calling you Mr. Wow from now on.
Okay, that's what I call my wife. I'm like, "Hi, I'm Bow Wow Bill. This is Mrs. Wow."
This is wow.
Well, and I want to say, hey, what's up to Barry? Barry's here. What's up, dude? Look at that beautiful daughter of his. Barry, you have an open invitation anytime, my
Yeah,
man.
she's beautiful. I've seen some pictures.
And then
Cool guy
Sharon,
as well. Cool guy.
yeah, great guy, and
You
uh,
thankfully, I have not yet met an asshole in the Napopo world, Napopo for Google.
Mhm.
But as we grow, I'm sure we'll find one.
They're out there, man. And as do you know what? As we grow, it's just a fact of numbers, right? And that's what we need to know is like, look, it's not anything that's really bad or good. It's just what it is, man. There's some people that are assholes. There's some dogs that are assholes that are just like it's just what it is. It's something that um what do they say that variety is the spice of life, right? It's like there's good, there's bad, there's everything in between. Now the goal is and the purpose is like how do you know how do you know how to how to see that, how to define it, and how do you know where you are on that spectrum as well?
Laugh to win.
Laugh to
Try
win.
not to be sensitive. Laugh to win.
That's
Something
right.
offends you, laugh it off. You need to be able to laugh at yourself as much as you laugh at other people.
Dude, I love that. I love that you say that because I used to say that to myself, right? Is like laugh at yourself more. It's like life shouldn't be so serious. None of us are getting out of this alive.
You know it. You know it. And the good thing, as Jim Morrison said, death makes angels of us all.
That's right.
I
And
always find it funny when I go to someone's funeral, I'm listening to the obituary and I'm like, is this the same guy? I knew him. He was kind of a jerk.
I've read some of those obituaries too, that you're like, okay, wow, this person really, really rubbed some some people wrong, or and that's
Talk, go ahead. Sorry.
nothing. Oh, I was just saying that, like, even through suffering, right, and even through challenges that we have, is like, and as a Catholic, we look at saints and we look at the lives of some of these saints, and some of these saints have had immense health challenges, have had immense trials in their lives. It's brought them closer to God, and made them even more saintly. So, like, even during the hard times, man, learn to have an outlet, learn to be able to
It's
give
when you
it
need
the
it the most. If you don't have humor in hard times, you're going down. You'll go down with the ship.
yeah. Yeah, and I wanted to go back, so
Not take yourself too seriously. Sorry, I'm going to interject a little story. Uh, Walking a dog. You're training a dog. You got the client's dog out doing a board and train. You're walking the dog. Let's say you do 2 miles. Did you go 2 miles in a straight line, or did you do 4 blocks with sits and turns and sits and turns and sits and turns? For you and I, we're doing every turn possible. We think nothing of it. But it's funny, you walk out to the car in the morning, you forgot your keys, and like the neighbor might be listening, seeing, oh, you make this face, no, put your arms up and turn around because you don't want somebody to think you're walking in the car. They just went crazy, turned around and walked back in the house. Everybody does, oh,
yeah,
before they walk back to the house.
a little reactive, you become because also, how others view us too is very important to us, right? That's that ego. And I was talking to Heather about this earlier too, is like a lot of times when people, especially pet dog people, they need help, and they're laying down that ego to say, I don't know what I don't know. I need help. I need help to get to this, or to bridge this gap of understanding. And some of my favorite people to teach are the people that have realized that ego isn't as important, and they're actually asking for that help instead of thinking that they know it all. Um, and it takes some vulnerability to do that. It takes some degree of discomfort, and the more that you can laugh at yourself and and be okay with being uncomfortable, the better I think that you're going to be as far as being a student and learning and really, really
Absolutely.
take taking
Absolutely.
in the knowledge,
If you
right?
can't swallow your ego to ask for help when you need it, you're not going to learn as much. And I'm seeing Chris here is asking if I shave my eyebrows. No, Chris, I don't shave my eyebrows, but unfortunately, I have to shave my back.
I
So
shave
I
mine.
am looking for.
I do. I groom it. Look at how I'm not too bad. I just got a haircut because I'm going to Costa. Look at my mustache. I got some new
Nice.
glasses. And then my guy does like the whole hot towel on my face, everything. And yeah, I love it. Look who's here, dude. We were just
Mr. Derek,
we were just talking about you, bro. Learn your
the
flaws and
shotgun
teach
blast
better.
himself.
Yeah, you're a shotgun blast, Derek. That's what we call you.
Yeah, one
I
speed,
call you
Derek speed.
I call you minigun, Derek. Um, and his balls, shaved his balls. Nice, dude. Here we go. I want to go back to what you said earlier about being an endorphin. So you're an endorphin dancer, right? Versus a dopamine. What Bill is way too pretty right now. Shush, Derek. Don't be talking to me like that. Joseph, look at
Yeah, got
Joseph,
a
man.
private
He's
studio.
pretty too. He's pretty too, dude. Um, let's talk about endorphins versus dopamine, and why you called yourself an endorphin. So you needed the reinforce. Well, why did you say that, Joseph? Let's go back there.
Well, actually, I'll put this to a interesting conversation I had with Joe Hodge. You know, Joe Hodges. We were talking one time, combat veteran and competitive ballroom and Latin dancer. What could that have in common? Regularly, when I would compete with my students, I would have to tell them, do not eat this meal, you are dancing. Regularly, I would show up at the room an hour before they were dancing to give them the Imodium so they would not be shatting themselves in line. Regularly in line, waiting to perform dance in front of 2 or 3,000 people. You're standing there going, I gotta pee, I gotta pee, I gotta pee. You go to the bathroom because there's a general dance or something and nothing's coming out. It's all nerves. So the pressure for dancing is the buildup getting on to the dance floor. Once the music starts, you kick in, the endorphins become start releasing, but it's that buildup of pressure and the release is so enjoyable that you don't mind the pressure. Joe
Mm.
was talking about it in combat and said it's the exact same thing. And it makes me think that dogs have to have the same thing, that the ones that like the pressure, it's because that release of pressure, the buildup, I need to work, I need to work, I need to work. Oh, I got to work. I performed.
Well, just like I mean, and light on your feet, like Christopher. And I wonder, Chris, like I see dogs. I see dogs. Whoops, hold on. I got my wife calling me. I see dogs, especially my bird dogs, dude. When I take them out in the field, they'll take a shit, and I'm wondering if
Getting in that load. Yeah, yeah, getting ready to run. Well, I guess
sees
the
that. If
military, that's where we got to
he,
hold your water, boys.
yeah, and Bart says, "Let's dance," which can be harmony, but also can look very clumsy, right? There's
Yes,
that
yes.
fine line, dude. Like me dancing now is you want to laugh, and I'll laugh at myself too. But it takes some time, and that's why, like when we were talking about it being an art of movement, right? And that's what I also call dog training. It's a science, and that's why we go to the NEPOPO or NAPOPO, is to learn the science. But that's the other aspect that I love about it is like, look, now that you guys know the framework of the science behind why the dog does and how to get them to do, now it's an art of movement. And that's where the gold school happens, is that now
100%.
we're taking the art and the science and letting them dance together. And that's where it's kind of tricky to legislate, because we have everybody's different. Everybody has different is coordination is different. Is I was Don. My goodness. Um, and it's how do you legislate that? How do you, for somebody that has a good talent and is naturally kind of artistic, that's where I send them to NAPOPO and just be like, okay, you got the art here. You need to understand the why behind all this, right? And I've also said, Joseph, that I see some talent in my clients' kids with their dogs, a lot more talent than I even see in some of my colleagues. And yeah, natural rhythm. And so that's something to think about here, is that just like we are talking about you being an endorphin dancer and that this and a skateboarder and working with dogs, this is an art of movement. And there's a lot that goes into that. There's coordination, there's timing, consistency,
Pressure,
practice, muscle memory,
pressure.
pressure, right? Like you were saying. And then how do we make it look harmonious, and how do we make it look elegant? And I remember I was at Ace Hardware. Do you have Ace where you are?
No,
I
good
was
little
working
store.
a yeah, I was working a dog in Ace Hardware, and it was a collie. And I was working this dog, and just like you said, every turn I'm making, doing all these automatic sits and just training this dog up while I'm looking at this, grabbing something off the thing, putting it back, walking him around the aisle, making sure that the dog's in a nice heel. And this lady came up to me and just says, "You know what? I want you to know that I've been watching you, and I just think it's beautiful what you're doing." And I was like, "Wow, thanks, man." Like, that was good to hear. I'll always remember that. Like, if you see it, say something. If somebody has
It was a
helped you in
dance
your
routine.
life,
It was a dance routine. Absolutely.
right?
Absolutely. An important thing in the dance routine, dance, life, and dog training, there are tons of missteps, but you need to make it all part of the dance. The routine doesn't stop.
And we had that partner, like just like they said, Fred Astaire, Ginger Roberts took every step that Fred took backwards
Heels.
and in heels. That's right.
Derek, I got a challenge for you.
No, we'll be doing them
Let
as
me
a
give a little dance analogy. My teachers in dance used to say all the time, if I can change the way you think about this, I'm going to change everything for you. Ni po po, ne po po. Everybody wants, I've heard Bart say, come naked, come as a blank slate. And that's the best thing you can do, really. It is the best thing you can do. I'm going to talk a little about the similarity of dance and dog training. In dance, the man is the frame, the woman is the picture. The frame is important to support the picture and also to help show off the picture. In dog training, it's the same deal. The
handler's a
handler
frame.
is the frame, but instead of the frame being my arms or my body in that sense, my frame is the leash. My frame is the collar, the prong, the e-collar. It's no similarity that they call the leash a lead. When we're dancing or when we're training dogs, the lead, I as the leader have a picture or goal in mind. I signal or instigate to the woman or to the dog what I want when she gives me good intentions or does the move correctly. I release pressure in my dance frame. I release pressure on my lead, release pressure on my e-collar, and I follow her through. So there's a lot of similarities in touch. Now, the beautiful thing about partner dancing, and this is kind of specific to partner dancing because you have those pressures. I learned Napopo long before unknowingly, not knowing what it was.
Right.
Because in dance, if your posture is off, if your occipital bone is not pulled away from your xiphoid process, which is pulled away from your coccyx, your posture is going to correct yourself. You're going to have a discomfort through lack of posture or a bad connection to the partner. So the negative is intrinsically there in the body. And when it's fixed, there's your first positive. The second part, you get to enjoy the dance. So unknowingly for 28 years, I was doing Nipopo and had no clue.
Yeah, it works with behavior of all species, man. You know, that's
The
why it's the
difference is,
why.
Bill, for me, after 28 years teaching competitive ballroom and Latin dance, it got easier, a little more mundane. So I had to make it harder. I went from bitches with 2 legs to bitches with 4.
Oh my gosh, dude, you kill me. Stop.
And if you do it wrong, you're sucking hind teeth.
You're hilarious. Dude, it reminds me of the time that I you know what you're saying is one little thing out of place, right? It's going to affect the whole outcome. And I decided to play golf for a little bit, and I think that they should rename it to another 4-letter word, honestly. But but I hired a coach to help me because, dude, I couldn't hit that ball. I mean, it was going right and left everywhere, and it was a gal, and I just remember her. She was showing me how to do it. I could still like grip your arm. You got to keep this arm straight, keep on the ball. And then right when I was about ready to hit it, she's like, "Stick your ass out." And so I had to stick my butt out, and it felt so awkward, dude. But you better believe that ball went straight as an arrow.
Well,
All
you
right.
think about it, any of these things that all of us know, we'll go old school, take it back to Kmart getting or Sears getting the free photo. Take the shoulder forward, take the shoulder forward, chin up, chin up, chin up, turn your head, no, turn your head the other way, and take care. You're doing all this stuff. You're like, this is going to be horrible. And you get the picture back and you go like, wow, this looks pretty good. So uncomfortable is not a monitor for correct. It's just us judging ourselves. Again, that ego in the way.
Yeah, I remember when I did some commercials, even with my dogs, or I did some acting in commercials. Like I was really close to the other actor. Like it felt really uncomfortable talking that way. But then when you saw it on the screen, it looked really good. you know, but you would
Sorry,
never
laugh.
do that.
Maybe think of a dance thing in teaching people dance. As some of the dances were very romantic, very intense. You're this close to the lady's face, and you got to look like you want to devour this woman. So people would try to portray passion, and passion comes across almost like a creepy neighbor or pedophile down the street. So I would tell people when they want to have passion, smell something that. What's your favorite dessert, Bill? If it's
Oh, geez, I don't even know. Like a good vanilla, um, like a good vanilla cake. I just had this at.
vanilla cake. If you can smell vanilla cake, I'd say maybe something warmer, vanilla creme brulee. But when you would be
Oh
dancing
yeah.
and you smell that, that next to a person this far away, it looks like passion.
Okay, I'll remember
So it's
that
just interesting little tricks of the trade.
when I'm kissing my wife tonight. I'll be like.
Vanilla. Bill, no
we're not
pound
gonna
cake.
be we're not gonna
Wait
be
till
vanilla
vacation.
tonight, baby. No pound cake. My sort of girl, Chris, kills me. Um, well, and I like what you were saying about the handler being the frame and the dog being the picture, man. And leader, right? Those are the same. It's just yeah.
Same deal. Actually, funny deal. I've been in the dance world a long time. The world has changed, and I'm a very open minded, so I'm cool with all that stuff. But where I really struggled in the dance world was when growing up, it was man woman, man woman. Well, then marriages changes, life changes, so it became leader and follower. And it was
Mm,
very hard to get used to teaching same-sex couples saying leader or follower, not man and woman, and offending people.
interesting, interesting. But it is leader follower too. You know.
It is, and we do both. So if I instigate, whether for a dance partner or for a dog, I instigate, I let the dog or the woman interpret, and I follow through.
Well, and it's also about submission too. And there's a different. I think there's a misconnotation of or misconception about what submission is, right? And even when we're talking about like being a follower or submitting to the leader's role, we also understand that that leader role is to, as a frame, make the picture look good.
It's for the betterment of the couple,
It's for the
however
betterment
you
of the
want.
couple, not giver and taker, right? It's like it's leader
Giver and giver.
follower.
It's just a matter of who gives first. Leader gives first.
That's right. And it's like it's not I'm not taking as a leader. And as somebody that I need you to follow my lead, it begins with love and it begins with trust. Yoris wants to come in. You want to say hi to Yoris?
Hell yeah. One of my
Okay.
favorite guys.
You come
Yours was
on up.
my first experience with Nipopo. I hired Yoris in 2019, I think it was, for a week-long one-on-one. I asked him to bring dogs. I said, we're going to go at my speed. I want this amalgamated hands-on dogs and technique. And it was a great week. He told me, of course, I can't certify you for any of this. This is not how it goes. But if you want to train, I'll train. You just can only use it for your personal knowledge. But
Right.
it set the hook in me that I had to go to Michael and Bart immediately afterwards.
Amen. And not only that, but it's not just Bart, man. Michael is gold, dude. Like that's the other aspect of this is like, especially in the pet dog world, man, and especially in the relationship aspect world, she is a genius. And I shout her out, Michael Bellin, you are amazing and one of my biggest mentors, and I appreciate you so much. And even when I was at a really low time in my life, man, she was there and talked me through some stuff that I just it's like I said, as we provide our clients. Oh, we see him. Oh man, he's all. Do you see him there? Do you see him in the
Oh,
studio?
yeah.
Okay, hold on. Just a second, Yoris. Yoris is coming on and he's got the look, you guys. So just to warn everybody. Um, but just shout out to Michael and Bart, but especially for
Both
Michael.
brilliant. As someone that's been in the ballroom and Latin dance world, dealt with so many women, it's so cool because I can recognize the amount of female stamping on the Napopo brand. The verbiage, the language, the fine tuning, the packaging of how to sell it. And training dogs.
Where'd you go? Oh, there he is. Well, and she's the one that did the tests. And so if you guys go to Silver, like just be ready to struggle a little bit, just like we were talking about the struggle, and then the outcome is worth it. But
Well, and as a
those tests
man, you
are
may
hard.
struggle a little bit more because some of those questions are written in estrogenese, and we speak testosterone.
All right. Speaking of testosterone,
What's up, brother?
Hello, darlings.
you look like you're going to tell us a ghost story there, buddy.
Yes, so I'm in Belgium. I had a few drinks, and my driver is currently driving the Porsche.
Okay. So, how's Belgium going?
Oh, I just posted a video like an hour and a half ago about the seventh dog that I selected, and he is really like the number 7, the holy number of completion out of the Bible.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
He has everything that Joseph and I would have if we had a baby together.
That might be possible these days, Joris.
Hey, brother, it's 2024, I feel how I feel.
Well, you need to stop calling. The last time you called, my dog went into heat.
Yeah, I know. I saw the video. It made me. But anyway, listen, Joseph, I heard my name, so I wanted to thank you for all your support over the years and for being a very dear friend, aka even more a brother than a friend. So I hope that you
While you're
guys will
here,
enjoy.
I'll give you a plug you may not have heard before. Like I said, yours was my first experience with Nipopo, and
Yes.
what I found very beneficial after, especially doing 2 more schools with Bart and Michael, and then doing the cop thing with yours, the language, the accent, and the linguistics you learn different from yours. He teaches his own style, but the accent gives you enough of a memory that you can remember what Bart was saying, and that puts you right there because Michael's right there with him, and it's a good deal. Having that with the similar accent, similar language pattern teaches you new things, but also connects you back to what you've already done.
Hey, I have only one answer on that.
Stop
Just
getting my
so
dog
you
pregnant.
know. Just so you know.
just so you know. Hey,
Right.
hey,
You got
Hey, I
it? You
bought
got
it.
it?
I bought it. We're gonna get there. You see a little bit of the studio in the background.
Yeah.
hey,
Hey,
yours.
maybe Bill has to be our first guest in the Just So You Know podcast.
You got it, man. Well, yours, and real quick, while you're there, I saw that you use this product as well.
Yes, I have 47 boxes of doggy rates that are delivered at my place. So on Saturday afternoon, I'll be back in Texas. I will ship them out because on Monday I'm flying to Vegas. And after Vegas, I will see you guys in Springfield, Missouri.
Fantastic. I look forward to it, brother. And yeah, have a safe trip, have a safe journey, and love you, dude. Even though you didn't shout me out, Yoris. You're like my brother too.
I just shouted you out by saying that you're gonna be our first guest.
Oh, okay, there we
Just
go.
so you know.
Do you know when Yoris was at my silver school, and we stayed together in our Airbnb, you know, and that was back in the day where golds couldn't help silvers. That
And there were more people in the Airbnb than beds.
Yeah. Yep. Look at here. Napopo, you always learn with teacher as yours, as you learn every second. See you in Missouri. Awesome, Jerome. We're going to see you in Missouri. Dude, I want to redo the Jerome and I, you know how we sat down, Yoris, and we did that, interview. I did one with Yoris, but the audio didn't work with Jerome. The audio didn't work. And so I want to redo that. And so I'm looking forward to seeing you in Missouri.
For a second, I thought Joseph was drinking his doggy rates.
We were, dude.
I tried it. I don't give things to my dogs without trying it, and it's good stuff. It just needs some salt and garlic and onion.
Okay.
Love you, yours. Safe
I'm
trips
gonna have
back.
another good Belgian beer, and I catch up with you later. Okay.
All right, buddy.
See you guys.
Okay, there we go. A little spot impromptu, and Yoris and I will be doing a live stream as well as another Patreon thing. I'm sure. Love that guy, man. He's very knowledgeable
Yeah, good
too.
guy.
Yeah,
He is. He is.
yeah. My wife forgot I was doing a live stream, so there you go. She just flipped me off because I didn't answer her call.
Ah,
And I'm like, dude, I'm doing a live stream. I told you. She's like, oh yeah.
hey, Bill, let me ask you a question.
Okay.
When is the first time you felt a real connection to a dog or had a bonding moment that kind of opened your heart to the animal of what a dog is?
So many of them, but the very first time, and I talked to Curabell about this when I did a live stream with him, was like I was out in like rural Idaho, down in southern Idaho, and we were visiting my grandparents, and they had a ranch, and my like I said, I'm the only boy out of all these girls, and so a lot of times I would spend alone or just doing my own thing, speaking testosterone. um, and I remember like they had a bunch of cattle, and this was actually when I really saw the working dog and saw dogs show me things that they shouldn't be able to do, and just taught me like we don't know everything about these dogs, man. This is pretty remarkable. And in a way that like my grandpa would tell the dogs to go and do a task, and hours later the dogs would be doing the task, like go find these cows that are lost, and the dogs would go out and find them. And then I also had a situation where I was baling hay, and we were feeding the cows in the morning, and we had to take the twine off the bales. Otherwise, if the cow ingested that, then it could tie up their guts and kill that cow. And I remember, and we had a lot of cows, man. So we dropped the hay, they would just swarm that thing and eat it. And I remember one of the twines got loose in the bale, and I had to run out there. And I spoke about this with Heather, and I ran off the trailer to run to the bale that had the twine still in there. And as I'm trying to get these cows out of the way that are going to go eat, the dogs immediately knew what I was doing, and they shooed all the cows away from me. And I was like, "Whoa, this is way like they read my mind." It was. I'll always remember that. And I was able to get the twine out of there. But the one time before any of that, I was out, and we have a watering hole for the cows. It's just like a little pond that fills as the weather when it rains and stuff. And I was out there, and I had a dog approach me, and I thought it was a neighbor's dog or something. And I saw that this dog was injured and had a big old gash in the back of his leg. And I was kind of checking him out and petting him, and I hear this noise, and I look, and way off in the distance on the back porch is my family going, "Get away from that dog! That dog's rabid! That dog is crazy! That dog." And I just remember, like, no, this dog needs help. Like, there's
You
the
stepped on,
dog.
the dog understood it, and you understood it, even though your family couldn't connect in that situation.
Yeah, they thought it was just some stupid dog, and that's when I not only knew that we as general as people don't know everything there is to know about these dogs, but that's when I knew like these adults don't know everything either, man. Like as a child, I was like, you guys are flipping out over nothing. This dog needs help. I mean, he might have had some bad encounters with these people, but maybe it was mutual. Maybe they put up a front not wanting their livestock, or they just didn't know this dog. And so that would be probably the first thing that comes to mind. But there's so
How old do
many
you
other
think you were?
times. 8, 9. Yeah.
The first one, I was 5 years old. Where we lived across the road, there was all this undeveloped subdivision on one side, undeveloped farmland with a giant farmhouse over there. And we were told as children, the lady's crazy. Now you'd say schizophrenic, multiple personality, something. It wouldn't just be crazy, but we were
Liberal.
warned, don't go near this lady. Well, the problem was, as a kid, don't go near the lady. I've never seen the lady. She was always locked in the house. As back in the day when anyone had issues, they locked them away. This lady had gotten out of the farmhouse, came across the street, went in our backyard. I was out there playing. My mom went in to get some Kool-Aid or something, and she grabbed me and took off the fence with me. The dog hurdled a 4-foot fence, the Weimaraner, got around the front of her, was growling, and his eyes were on her like you wouldn't believe. And the thing I remember being so striking about that moment is the dog knew I was there, obviously, but the dog had no focus on me. It was just, I felt so safe, and this dog was showing such a display of, I'm going to tear you apart. And it was so fascinating being not involved in it while I was involved in it. I felt safe. And to this day, when I'm doing aggressive dogs, I can see, you were talking to Kevin the other day, and you were talking about things that are counterintuitive. I can see in the aggressive dogs I'm rehabbing, some of them, it's not personal. They don't like humans. They want to kill. I'm not a big fan of the ones when they look at me and I'm like, this is personal.
Yeah. They make your neck. That's where it makes the hair on the back of my neck stand up when they look right
Or
at
do
you.
you
Like,
choke down that fear pheromone when that becomes real and you see that dog going, no, this is you. I want to kill you.
Yeah, without a doubt, man. And I'm emphasizing that this is you, dude. And you take a step, and the dog's like, "Yeah, it's you, bro." Like that.
People, I don't know that everyone be able to get that. I was thinking in my own head when you were talking to Kevin and you said, how did you phrase it? Some of these things aren't intuitive, so they become very hard to teach. I had this 94-pound shepherd that I was rehabbing, human and dog aggressive, and I was training with the owners. And the lesson went great. By the end of it, the dog had no issue with me. I'm wrapping it up, and like an idiot, I'm like, I'm just going to give a little dog a little love to go. So I got a treat, and I go to give the treat, and the dog grabs onto my hand. And the humans freak out, but I could tell how the dog bit me, because if it wanted to hurt me, it would have torn me up bad. I was bleeding, it bit me, but I was hardly bleeding. And it took its mouth and just kind of pulled down, and I was getting cut, but I mean, the dog could have taken the finger. And the humans were freaking out, and I'm like, it's all right, I got it. And the dog stopped, released, and then I just pet him. And he was like, it didn't work. What do you mean? My bullshit show of aggression doesn't work with you? And the dog was fixed. But it took somebody to, and how do you teach that? How do you teach you're getting bit, don't pull away, don't put pressure on the dog? But I could just tell in that moment by how it bit me that it was just a backup thing. It wasn't I wanted to take your hand.
That's the art and movement, right? That's the part that's hard to teach, right? It's like, how do you, and when I blow glass, how do you teach, like, you don't push this rod too hard or it's going to shatter and cut your hand open? How do you teach that when you blow the thickness of this bubble, if you blow it too thin, you're going to ruin the whole thing, right? And it just comes with experience. But some people just have a natural knack, a natural eye, a natural intuition, and like, it's like in tune, right? They're in tune to something here. And that's where I think, I was born with something with the dogs where I can just kind of have
It's an intuition. They're definitely
right. And I just have a different level of understanding. And people have told me this all day long. They're like, dude, they're like, you're a dog whisperer. You're this guy. Like, wow, like, I've never seen anything happen with, like, the way that you work with this animal. I don't care about that, really. I mean, I'm flattered. And just like the lady said to me in the Ace Hardware, this is beautiful, you working with this animal. The thing that I'm flattered about is when the dog tells me, and that's where the first instance that dog told me as a young child walking up to me that was injured. And I don't know if I have some type of aura or something. I mean, some dogs don't like me at all. Like, but I'm
sure.
And I show them, like, even, like I show them, hey, this is how I'm dealing with this dog. You notice that I'm not looking at your dog right now. You notice that I'm not letting him know that this is affecting me, even though he's growling and he's uncomfortable with my presence here. I think that maybe that my presence has just got a big show for these dogs, and some dogs are comfortable with it and some dogs are uncomfortable. Does that make sense?
Absolutely. And your presence would be, do you continue to stare down that dog? Do you ignore the dog? Another intuitive thing. An outlier, what do they say, 10,000 hours? It's a lot. Bart says 5 years and you just begin to study, understand Nipopo. It's an interesting deal. What I find fascinating, though, again, in comparison, ballroom and Latin partner dancing, moving to that degree and that high level of movement with a woman is very, very intimate. And I'm not talking just a basic box step. I'm talking a leg crawl or a back bend where the woman's goes into is right on your thigh. Do you know what the goes into is, Bill?
No.
It's what it goes into.
I'm looking up
But there's a degree.
anytime a book's mentioned, I have to post it up. So I Malcolm Gladwell is one of my favorite authors, so I have to post up a link here to the Outliers. What you were talking about, the 10,000 hour rule, but go ahead. Goes into.
Yeah. So there's a degree of intimacy in moving with a woman on a dance floor, and for a woman moving with a man, or a leader and follower nowadays moving together. What's fascinating, the similarity in the intimacy that you have with a dog. It's not the same with a pheromone combination being the same species, but the intimacy of being in the moment when you're training a dog, working a dog, competing with the dog, your troubles kind of fade to the background. You're only present. It's just the two of you. It's a beautiful thing. I remember I was at an IGP seminar and the trainer had not gotten a bigger ball, and he had a pup that was growing. So he had the small ball, had the foosing happening, had the ball under the armpit, and he opened his armpit. The ball fell. The dog missed it from the catch, hit the ground. When he went to bite, the dog went to bite it. He swallowed it. So the dog's choking, and you can see the string. I was like, I can't fit it all in the camera. It's a big string. It's disappearing 4 inches every time the dog tried to inhale. So one guy jumped across the front. I grabbed the hind legs, and thankfully he was able to pull this out and save the dog.
Good.
But the in the moment lesson, I think, is one of the most important things for us to learn from dogs. That dog got up, went back into foos, and said, "Where's my ball? Let's do it." Forget that stuff that just happened. We're going to be in the moment.
Yeah. Well, and it's just like even with the predator mind too. And I was talking to Heather about this dog that actually attacked another dog in a doggy daycare situation, and it was a bad attack. He actually filleted the dog from his groin all the way up to the top of his chest, and it was horrible. It was, I mean, it traumatized some of the employees there, and I knew exactly when it happened too. I'm like, let me guess, the owner came in, and there was a bottleneck towards the gate there, and then one of the dogs jumped up and inadvertently hit that dog, and boom, he redirected that intense arousal, and that's what it turned into, is a big tear. And then but you better believe after that dog did that, he's wagging, waiting for his owner. Like, it did not affect him. It's like they don't hold on to that like we do, right? It doesn't have the same effect. And that's one of the ways that I use to illustrate, like, look, man, we can't anthropomorphize. We can't make these dogs human beings. And that's the number one mistake I see my clients do, is to put human characteristics on this animal. Instead, we can learn a lot by living in the moment, forgiveness, being opportunistic, all that stuff. If we choose to see the dog, or see the world through the dog's eyes by proxy, and that's what I encourage people to do, is understand how this dog processes information, and to become the dog, essentially.
Which is why I think it's so much easier to get dogs over anxiety than humans, because they are in the moment.
Yeah, and I talked to Lynn, and we talk about dogs being associative thinkers, where we are linear thinkers. Like and associative, we're linear and associative thinkers. So where dogs can be linear, but not as much, right? After they experience so much, and that's how they get so deep into the anxiety, is by experiencing the same picture over and over and over again. But when I bring out the dog of the environment, put them into another environment where that anxiety kind of has a different meaning, I watch it dissipate pretty quickly a lot of times, right? And there are some dogs that are naturally neurotic, and I find outlets for that, right? But I'm trying to get them to the other side, bridging that gap between them kind of going through that loop that they've been taught through the repetition of their current environment, and then getting them out into a more open experience. And then that's where I kind of come in to reinforce and to show them, hey, look, man, there's a different way of being that I'm going to help your human understand, so that you can have this better quality of life yourself. It's not just the human quality of life, it's the dog quality of life that we're being hired to
Absolutely.
improve.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. The dogs may be easier to fix than the humans.
But there's that relationship too. Like a lot of trainers, they want to
Absolutely.
get in there and
Absolutely.
start hammering away. And it's like, look, man, establish. So I had a dog come back to me. I was breeding dogs during COVID, and that was a cool experience in itself. But I have with anybody that gets one of my dogs, I don't care, man. You bring the dog back here. If anything happens in life, no questions asked. We will take every single one of our dogs back forever. And so we had a lady that unfortunately was diagnosed with a terminal condition, and she just couldn't handle it. And so I said, bring him back. And we found a nice lady that got the dog, adopted him, and she was so dead set on like, okay, what do I do next? What do I do? Sit down. And I'm like, do nothing. Just be with that dog. This is your dog now. But it was it was her first dog. She's had dogs in the family, but this was her dog. And I said, you guys need to get to know each other a little bit before. I said, the sits, the downs, everything is going to come. Don't worry about that. We'll have plenty of time because you got the whole life with this animal. But first, get to know him. Yeah.
Live with it.
Live with it and be with it. Be silent and like watch each other, look at each other and figure each other out for a bit, man. And then when you're ready, and you'll know when you're ready, give me a holler. We'll Zoom. We'll do whatever we need to do. But I think that even with dog trainers, they miss that part of it. It's like, no, I understand that there's a timetable here, but the importance of establishing a good, solid foundation of that relationship is very important as well.
Which is what makes board and train so nice.
Well, and that's where you can see, and that's why I like board and trains. I'm not doing them currently, but I'm like, well, we're going to see your dog. We're going to see who your dog is. Right.
Yes. And your dog is going to tell me what you do.
Yeah. and what do you mean by that, Joseph? What do you?
Perfect example. I got this young sport pup that's coming along nicely. Lots of fire. The wife had huddled with the dog on the sofa. I came home, sat on the sofa. Boom, the dog's up on the sofa. I said, "So you left the dog on the couch?" Well, I didn't. I'm like, "You let the dog on the couch?" Well, it was just one nap.
Well, and it's like
the dog tells you what happens at home. The humans may fluff it or sugarcoat it, but the dog tells you the truth.
Dogs never lie.
Never lie. So, Bill, I want to play the question game.
Yes, of course.
Awesome. Shall I ask you first? I wrote it down somewhere.
I got them here when you texted me. Here, let's see.
Awesome. So I will do this for dance and for dogs. You can do this for dogs. And what did you do before dogs?
I waited tables. I skateboarded. Dude, I was a big skateboarder. Like
You could put this into any context. You might have some really interesting ones. What's the strangest thing you've experienced waiting tables, skateboarding, and with a dog? Not all at the same time, of course.
Oh my goodness, man.
This will be we'll give the X-rated ones on the Patreon interview.
Yeah, I mean skateboarding, I saw that people just have a bias towards skateboarders, right? And people didn't like me because I was skating on their property or whatever, and sometimes for good reason. Like I do handrails or the guardrails or whatever. And
right.
And I was younger. I didn't realize that, all this stuff costs money to maintain it. And the strangest thing.
You were young. They couldn't sue you for much.
Right. Exactly. I didn't have much, I think it's not really strange, but I think that I learned something pretty big about working in a fine dining restaurant, and that we're all people, man. Like I waited tables on some very affluent people, and from Paul Allen, who's now passed away, but he was one of the founders of Microsoft, billionaire. I took care of him. Mark Wahlberg, I met him, took care of him, and And just I had a realization, man, and that's why I started my business and started Bow Wow Bills, is like the only difference between me and these people is that they'd made a decision. They made a choice to live their dream. They made a choice to pursue their passion. And I mean, it's not really strange, but that's what's coming to me right now. Is like, look, this is, and I just remember just having these conversations and walking away. Like even with Mark Wahlberg, dude, he was such a cool guy, and I watched a
That
movie
about him.
with him. What's that?
I hear that about him. I hear he's really down to earth.
He was so cool, man. And I just remember like taking his dishes back to the kitchen and like coming back and like him continuing the conversation that he had with me, right? And then all of a sudden I'm like snapping back. I'm like, whoa, dude, this is Mark Wahlberg, like
Right.
right in front of me. But it's like just a normal guy. And I don't know, man, that was probably the most profound thing that happened. But there's so many. The grossest thing has definitely happened in the dog world, dude. Definitely by far. What about you? I'll tell you one about the dog world, and let me write this down. And I've said this one before because this was very traumatic. But what about you in ballet or dance or what did you ever
In
do?
dance, I have a ton of these for the dog world, and I've tried to pick the cleaner ones that I won't inadvertently cuss during on the live stream, but we'll get to
Well,
the other ones out of the way.
yeah, we'll say those on Patreon, you guys. So
Absolutely.
yeah, we'll have some nice ones.
I was dancing with this lady. Her name was Myra. Her name is still Myra. We were doing a Viennese waltz. Viennese waltz is a smooth dance. So the man has a frame like this, and you're basically taking the back of your head and you're poising it over your left foot, and the woman's doing the same. So you have strong counterbalance happening this way. And we're dancing around the floor at a competition, and I hear, Joseph. And I'm here. I can't look because if I put my head in the center with the rotation of this dance, we're going to bite it. We're going to get hurt. We're going to the floor. So I
Dude,
just kind of ignored it. And I hear again,
Joseph.
and I'm like, the fuck's going on? Excuse me.
You swear.
And then
Here's the Viennese waltz, you guys,
Viennese waltz.
so we can show it.
Dancing
what
with
it
the
looks
stars.
like.
Fast forward to where they're twirling. Even more.
Right.
So we're doing some shadow work there, but
Wow, bro.
this is how to. Yeah, you might not see it until the end. There you go. You can see the poise there, and the dance is a really quick waltz timing, and it's flying. This is slowed down 50% easy. The dance is flying. So I'm hearing during this, Joseph, and I'm not responding. And then I hear, Joseph, help. And I'm like, oh, something's wrong. So I can't turn my face. So I turn my eyes and I look, and there's a horsefly sitting on her nose right by her eye. And she's there looking at a cross-eyed like this. I'm thinking, how am I going to save her? I can't put my head in. We're going to fall down. So I just went, but that fly was up there like this is much better than flying around the room.
No way. I love
Oh, it's
watching
crazy.
Now I'm watching all these Viennese waltzes, man. These are so cool. Isn't it cool how you can get hypnotized by this stuff, man? Like
flight. The feeling of flight without wings.
Well, that's why I like it.
Strangest one. Sorry.
That's why I call it art, right? And it inspires, and it will interrupt what you were doing. Like I gotta take it off because I'm gonna be all distracted. I'll be like squirrel. But that's what illustrates the art aspect of this. So
for the dog world, strange, not as funny as that one, but still very strange. Kathy was going through an illness, needed some chemo, and it was very emotional for everyone in the family. The dog, when she started the medication, could smell it. And you could see me as a dog trainer, I could see what was happening. She didn't recognize it, but I could see whenever he got near her, mom didn't smell like mom. There was something else he was smelling, and in his mind, his nose was failing him. It wasn't that he was smelling, his nose was wrong. So he would go up to her and make these noises and shake for 25 minutes at a time.
Interesting.
And it was like 5 or 6 days before he stopped. And I thought, this is going to become a bad emotional thing that like even the dog doesn't want to be near me because I'm going through this or some other thing like that. That was high stress. Every day I was like, dude, please stop. Please stop. He was like, nope, something's wrong with my nose.
Yeah. Well, I know exactly about it, man. My wife, same observations that I made was when she did chemo, those dogs knew, and who knows what that chemo's made of. I mean, we had to wear like these radiation gloves or whatever, and if you ever had to handle the bag or what it was, there was definitely a protocol that you had to make sure that this stuff did not get anywhere. And it's kind of crazy that that's what kills the cancer, is something that's so toxic to us, right? And
Poison it with poison, just hopefully enough of you survives that the poison didn't kill you.
That's right. And thankfully she's good. She's in remission and that kind of stuff, just like we were talking about.
And
it
celebrating 20 years next week.
And celebrating 20 years in Costa Rica, man.
That's
and
awesome. That's awesome.
But you know, to watch somebody do that, I mean, I know that this is life and this is something that we're going to experience. And that's the other aspect of working with dogs, is that the dogs don't live as long, man. You know, and I have a dog, Cedar, and I talk to like Pecan and I talk to Yaya, and I'm like, you guys are some of my favorite dogs ever. You're not Cedar level yet.
Right.
Because Cedar, bro, I got a drawing of, or a painting of Cedar out here, and he was my right hand man, and he was the guy that when I started Bow Wow Bills, I went and adopted this dog, and he's just something special, man. There are heart dogs, right? Yeah. And there's, I think, value in learning the loss that we will experience with these creatures that we love so much.
Grief is the price we pay for love.
And it sucks.
Hey, sucks. I have to win.
but I say it, but it's worth it. You know, it sucks, but it's worth it, because guess what? I have a bunch of these other dogs, and I mean, there's just something that it just takes us to a place of just sorrow that, you know, without the bitter, the sweet isn't as sweet, right? And so it's the full spectrum, is like, you know, the boundaries and the things that don't really feel good in life. It's like life isn't meant to just be feely good rainbows and unicorns, but guess what? The stuff that doesn't make you feel good makes the stuff that makes you feel good all that much more better.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Right?
Absolutely. So what's the most painful or scary thing in the dog world?
Dude, so I was just starting out and I'm like, I see these guys that are picking up poop. That's what they did for a job. Like, they would come by and I'm like, you know what? Revenue streams, man. I need to open up some of these revenue streams. Like, I'm not there yet. So I was like, you know what? I'll offer to pick up some poop. I'm okay with it. And so I did it, and I was charging like $10, dude, to pick up your front yard and backyard or whatever. And it was mostly for my clients, like just an added benefit. Like, you want me to pick up your yard before I go? And they're like, yeah. And keep in mind, this is around 2007, so almost 20 years ago. That's so crazy.
That is crazy.
And then one of my clients is like, you know what? My neighbor, I know you don't work with her, but she was wanting to know if you would pick up her yard. And I'm like, okay, you know, and she has 3 dogs. And I was like, okay, $30. And dude, first off, they're like Malamutes, like the Husky Malamutes cross. And I go in the backyard, bro, and they've never picked up these dogs. And these dogs are probably like 9-10 years old. And there's dog crap everywhere, bro. Like, even on the deck and all throughout the yard. It looked like just a muddy yard. It was all just shit. And I'm a man of my word, dude. So I'm like, you got a big trash bag? This is going to take a while. And I go out there, man. And I've started up on the deck because I was like, well, I can get out there and maybe some of the stuff out in the yard will kind of blend in if I miss it. But the deck definitely needs some maintenance. So I go there and I clean up the deck as well as I could. It was gnarly, dude. Like, I could barely lift this freaking trash bag full of shit.
Dump truck.
and then I go down and I'm cleaning out the yard, and I go underneath the deck, and it looks like they definitely have been shitting underneath the deck too. So I'm down there picking up, and then the lady upstairs goes out on the deck and hoses off the deck, and I'm down below like, hey, I'm right down, and then here comes the water, and so a waterfall of just shit water. Dude, it was like brown water just all over me, just drenching me, just like shit water. And I never ever picked up poop after that day, dude. Like I got out of there. I was like, hey, I'm under the deck. She's like, oh, sorry, it's an old lady. And
I'm gonna make a note for the Patreon channel. I got a story for you.
okay. But that, and then I just remember driving home as a biohazard. Like I was just like in my van, like, dude, I don't even want to touch my steering wheel, you know? And I'm like driving home, get in the shower. I think I threw away my clothes, man. Like it was so gnarly. It was so gnarly.
It's disgusting.
And yeah, so that's my gross one, dude. So what else?
All right, I'll go with painful in the dance world. I've had we can talk a lot about these, but I'll choose one with a little bit of humor.
Oh, painful now.
If you're
now
not
we're doing pain.
Yep, pain. Which one did I say? Strangest? We can do we'll go with pain here. We'll jump around a little bit. Pain in the dance world. For people that don't know, these ballroom and Latin dress ball gowns are very expensive. When I got into the business 28 years ago, they were like $2,000. Now they're $8 or $9,000 for a dress. These dresses are covered in 20 to 30 pounds of Swarovski rhinestone crystals, hand glued on. So it was very common to put a woman in a dress before a comp, let her spin because she had to get used to the weight of that 30-pound stone spinning when she stopped, and most of them would fall to the floor. So I'm doing a cha-cha with my pro partner at the Ohio Star Ball, and she does this double spin that on a dress we've not rehearsed on. She could handle it, so I didn't have to put her in those dresses. She was a talented dancer. She did a double turn. On the first spin, 20 pounds of rhinestones went across my waist and hit me right in the nuts. So I buckle and go down like this. On the second spin, her elbow is supposed to come under my chin, and then we connect a hand-to-hand hold. Well, because I went down, it hit me in the temple and knocked me out on my feet on the dance floor.
Look at these. $10,000.
No, those are all you're gonna have to look up like doré gowns or something like that. Those are store made and they're not custom. These things are a whole different breed. But the Swarovski crystals are very heavy lead-based crystals.
These ones like this. $25,000. Those ones are, or what did you say?
These are
what?
expensive. They're $8,000 to $9,000 now.
Jiminy Christmas.
But none of those have
Those are
the
wedding
hand
dresses.
stones on them. I mean, these are really costume things. The stage lights light them up. So I got hit in the nuts with 20 pounds of rhinestones, knocked out. Thankfully, she was a talented dancer. She caught my hand and started doing a grapevine around me in a circle. And I remember the darkness, then the white light kind of came back, and I'm hearing, there's music. Where the hell am I? Oh, crap. I'm at the Ohio Star Ball, and we're doing a cha-cha, and I can't see anything.
Yeah, that's one thing that women don't realize, man, is that the effect of and that reminds me, so I brought home a Great Dane board and train, and you know, whenever I bring home a board and train, I know that the dog's going to be excited, right? And so I'm like, let's let a few minutes of like meet and greet. Let's let it just be free break and greet your dog. Everybody's, you know, let that energy kind of settle down whenever I'm bringing that dog back in. And then I'm going to walk them through what we've learned. Then I'm going to have them do it one-on-one and just make sure that the lessons are transferring over. But I want the dog, I don't create robots. I want the dog to be exuberant and happy. And so, but I want the dog to know when it's time to be exuberant and when it's time to be on the clock, so to speak. And so I bring in the dog into the house, and everybody's excited. And I'm telling them, I mean, don't just like scream and be chaotic when the dog comes in. I'm going to give the dog a break and then invite him over to go to you and pet him up. And then also when you pet, and we're not going to be petting like crazy. We're going to be like, good dog, right? And just nice, calm, even keel. But I understand that you're excited. I understand the dog's excited to be reunited and to be back home. And dude, I come walking in, and that Great Dane whacks me in the balls with his tail so hard. I'm on the ground in a fetal position, bro. Like, you know how that happens where it's like I can't even control, and then I'm like I'm like, oh, oh. Like it was so bad. Like I didn't even, and it took me a good probably half hour, and then you get sick to your stomach, you know, and it's just
Absolutely.
it's absolutely horrible. But yeah, man, I'm like, here's your boom. I'm on the ground. The dog's free, like running around. I'm just down there moaning, and they didn't really see it. They're like, what is going on here, man? And I'm just laying there in agony. And I'm like,
It's
and finally
hilarious.
I get it out, and I'm just like, you got me right between the legs. I guess I need a second. Oh my God. And it was horrible, man. Like it was nothing but net, like boom. And so yeah, there's one of my most painful, and I got some more that I'll say on Patreon, like with some bites that I've had. Like here's I got some pretty, well, let me see the scar. I don't know if you could see that scar on that thumb there. That was a Bouvier that bit me that I was talking to Heather earlier about.
Lucky to have that thumb.
Yeah, man. And I was talking to her about like we just can't let our guard down 100% when working with a predator, like especially if we don't know that dog in and out. And I was tethering the dog, and when I had a leash on my shoulder, and as I was leaning down to tether the dog, the leash fell, and I went to grab the leash, and the dog nailed me, dude, and nailed me good. And yeah, I was supposed to go out with my mom and stepdad to like farmer's market, and we were going. We had a full day planned, and now I'm going to the hospital. And I remember the look on my mom's face as I come out of that, and I'm just like bleeding all over the place and holding my hand. And my mom's like, "Oh my gosh, Billy, what happened?" Like just the concern that I saw. It just was a learning experience. And if anybody can borrow this scar that I have,
So you don't have to learn the lesson yourself.
that's
It's a
right.
hard
And
deal, you know. A lot of those bites, I've been bitten many, many times, and you're trying to give the owner some instruction. You drop your guard because the client's paying, and next thing you know, you're bleeding.
oh, look who's here. What's up, Lair?
Larry,
Mr. Handsome calling us handsome. Larry's watching from my YouTube channel, you guys. If you wouldn't mind stopping over to YouTube and subscribing there as well. And Larry's one of my favorite people on the face of the earth, even though he
he's
always
a good man. Good man.
sends me messages about my penis size.
You know, I've heard him moan over Maple making damn, I can't say it. Bacon maple old fashioned.
Oh yeah, and not only that, but the Crown Royal. That's what I saw here. Dude, what I was telling him going to Costa Rica, and this is what he says. He says, "Oh man, that's awesome. Stay naked and celebrate big, even if you're small." Freaking guy. Even if you're very small. And I'm all, don't tell me what to do. I love you, Larry. Yeah, he's one of the good ones, man. But Larry, you just don't even know. Best drink ever, he says. I had a are you do you like alcohol, Joe?
I like bourbon, I like beer,
Okay.
occasional martini.
I don't remember last time I drank alcohol. I'm not really a big drinker at all. I don't even smoke weed anymore, dude. I'm a L7 square now. Wait.
Yeah, well, what did who said it? Billy Joel, or it's hip to be square.
Hip to be square. That's right. But yeah, man.
I'll give you another one while we're talking things in the mouth now.
Things in the
At a
mouth.
dance comp. Things in the mouth. This was not on the list. We're
okay.
Since Larry said celebrate big even if you're small, we're free balling now. Was at a dance comp, I showed up 2 days early, and when we dance, you get up at 5 in the morning, meet the students down there at 7 in the morning, and dance till midnight or 1 or 2 in the morning. It was brutal, 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 brutal. And I'm exhausted. So day 2, my pro partner shows up. I'm ironing my underwear or whatever at 5 in the morning, getting ready to go down and meet people, getting caffeinated. And she comes out of the bathroom brushing her teeth. She's like, "Oh my God. Oh my God. This toothpaste is horrible. What? I can't believe I let you pack the toothpaste. I should have brought toothpaste. There's not even any mint flavor here." I'm like, "What the heck?" I'm ironing and ironing and ironing. And all of a sudden I start thinking and laughing. I had seen a thing about swimsuit models, and these girls are very paranoid walking around all in a two-piece bikini with the cellulite or the tummy jiggling. So I heard this tip: take preparation H and put it on your skin, and it tightens up the skin. So I was putting it underneath because I was so tired from dancing, and she's in there brushing her teeth with the preparation H. All I could think was, first, thank God I don't have hemorrhoids. Secondly, are your gums receding?
She's gonna be like, "Oh, I don't know what's going on here." Mine reminds me of Larry when the painful or the I guess it's not really in the mouth. Let me think here. I ate one of those decorative soaps once. Like bit into it thinking it was white chocolate, and
That's hilarious.
that's it was like spicy. That was a weird thing. Maybe it was the lye or something that they make but I remember just like,
They could
whoa,
have put flavors in there, patchouli or who knows,
yeah, that was
rose
it.
hips. I don't know.
Yeah,
I'm
quitter.
not eating much coke though.
He keeps calling me a quitter because I quit smoking weed. Who knows, Larry? Maybe someday you and I will. Yeah, we have a date. Him and I do. But
He's fun guy, very sincere.
have you met him in
Very
person
bugs.
ever?
Yeah, my wife's family is in restaurants, so I've taken Larry and Joel when they do their St. Louis deal to Napoli 3 and this past time Napoli C.
Okay.
So little fine dining and if I can say it right this time, bacon maple old fashions.
You know that Larry and Joel and Jay have inspired me to start doing events, and I'm doing events with Omar van Mueller, who, in my opinion, is one of the best dog
Nice.
trainers in the world. And our first event, I'll tell you where it is. It's going to be in Dallas, and we have the dates carved out. But I'm going to be announcing the dates, and then we're also giving my Patreon and Omar's Patreon subscribers first shot at the tickets. And so that's another benefit for joining the Patreon is get the events that Omar and I will be doing and have access to those. And we might be inviting a couple other trainers to come with us. Heather, hint, hint, maybe have you with us as well. We need some female persuasion as well, I think. And these are not for problem solving. These are for taking the relationship that you've already established with your dog to the next level because of and just how to get it's like a trick training type of thing. So how to bring in the art aspect to working with your dog, the art of
How to
dog
get that
training.
water boiling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and usually it's water's already boiling. The dogs know it. And it's just, how do we take it to the next level? How do we advance this? How do we maybe even bring up behaviors that you didn't even know existed that you can do with your dog, like jumping through your arms, weaving through your legs, retrieving various items, giving items to other people, cleaning your house, stuff like that. So stay tuned for that.
That'll be exciting. That'll be exciting.
Yeah. So, what do you think, man? Are you, you have your, I'm going to put you on solo so people can see your background here. Top dog, right? And look at all.
It's reversed. Yes.
Yeah. Yep.
And then my again,
Schnauzer,
sorry,
right? Is that
backwards.
Schnauzer or is that
My certificates from Michael Umberg?
That's right.
Yes,
I don't even have
Schnauzer.
I'll
tell you on the Patreon page how when the last dog passed and I put him on his funeral pyre, how we ended up getting Schnauzers.
Okay, that's going to be a good one. I love Schnauzers, dude. I love Schnauzers, sorry. Look, I don't even have mine framed. I have to get mine all framed up here. Here's...
Very nice. Very nice.
Yep. And then There we go.
Beautiful.
Just so everybody
Beautiful.
knows, I got proof here. But
That
and
I
when
did
was
it.
it? This was 2020. Right during the pandemic,
Absolutely.
man. Right during the start of the pandemic. And just like when did you get your gold?
I was at the very last gold school. When was that? And I was at one gold school before then.
Okay.
Actually, I was really hoping for 2 diplomas, but I only got a diploma for completing the first one.
Just make a copy of it. They don't care. No, just kidding. Just kidding, guys. And then how did you find out about these guys and what made you go?
Intuitively made sense from the dance world. Like I said, the body being in the wrong position created a negative, and you
Okay.
fix it. That was a positive, and the next one you got to dance. So it's just something that made sense in my mind. I was training dogs that way without really knowing what I was doing, and when I saw it, I'm like, oh shit, that's my philosophy. And obviously, it's put together as only Michael and Bart can do, which is genius. And I called Joris. I was saw that he was a Nipopo trainer, and I was uncertain, and I wanted to commit to silver if I couldn't train dogs. And like I said, I talked to him and said, "We give me a week." And he talked to Michael and Bart and said, "Yeah, you can do it. This guy won't be able to use the name. He won't have any rights to it. But if you want to go train him, if he wants to pay you, take his money." And it was a
How
great experience.
how did you meet yours?
Saw him advertising on Facebook.
Okay.
He had a lot of flags, and I remember the old pickup truck in front of his old place, and just a guy that was happy to be in America, doing some Texas patriotic American pride. And he seemed like a cool guy. When I called and talked to him, he had the accent, and most of my coaches were European, and we just hit it off. So
Cool.
that's how I ended up with yours.
And then you've already
And
done
he
it.
has since told me that, yes, I can tell you had a lot of coaching. He said that was the hardest week of my life. He goes, I loved every second of it, but he goes, you had me on the fires. You just put me over the coals nonstop. He finally had to start telling me, shut up. You're going to listen to this, and then you can ask your questions afterwards.
Yeah. That's what I'm going to be doing with my students is be like, there's going to be a time for questioning. There's going to be a time, but
You
there's
have to.
There's also a time for processing and just listen and take it in and receive, right? And don't interrupt. Let's just get going. And not only that, but that's how they teach with the Silver School as well. This isn't a time for questions. And with my students, I'm like, you guys get an Airbnb together. So after you go, that you guys can discuss this stuff. And even with the Silver School, that what I hear is, and especially at the study groups, and Heather was having a study group, and these people have good questions, but it's a little bit out of the purview with the topic that's covered right then and there, right? And so I have to remind them, even at Silver School, that's a gold question, right?
Absolutely.
Sit on it, and this stuff will be answered in gold, because that's when the art and the science actually take effect with hands-on dogs. And not only that, but I don't take students unless they've had some time to process after the Silver School as well. And so, and I want them to be ready. And just because you're in the school doesn't mean necessarily that you're going to pass. I want to see there are some standards of what I expect. And I also want you to allow the teaching to kind of get in, but also allow to process, but also for every other student to get benefit from this experience as well.
Absolutely. Well, it's kind of like, remember the monkey bars you used to climb on the playground? You
Yeah.
reach one in front, and then you grab one in front. You could teach a silver student in gold immediately afterwards, but it's not the best move typically, because you need to aim just above what the student or dog is doing so they can achieve it. If you're going 3 monkey bars out, they can't catch it yet. Like Bart says, Napopo takes 5 years to simmer and marinate before you start fully understanding. My uppa used to say, hunger is the best spice. Bart says,
Ooh,
or sorry, he used to say, hunger is the best cook. Bart says, hunger is the best spice. And I love that analogy, because what you're doing, like a toolkit or a spice kit, you're getting those spices so you can use them however you want. The beautiful thing about dog training, I am a fabulous cook. I'm a shitty baker. A baker, you got to do this at this exact time, this at this exact time, this is good. And I tried to use Michael as a guidance for creating this pup, and I did a pretty darn good job. But I'd much rather stir fry than bake a cake that I got time, and this goes in at this time, and this goes. With a dog, you can kind of start cooking wherever you want, or if the dog's not on fire here, you can move to something, start over here, and weave them back together later. So Nipopo is a giant spice rack that allows you to cook however you need to.
Yeah.
Bart's line, hunger is the best spice. Grandpa, hunger is the best cook.
Well, it's also, I want you to go back and play with your dog, man. I want you to go and start to work with them, start to do stuff, you know. And that's where, like, I was watching one of my students that's coming to my gold school, and she started with the box work on stuff that she thought. And I'm watching her and I'm like, okay, you got a lot to learn, you know. But it's, I love the enthusiasm. I love the initiative, but I see that you don't know what you're doing. But I'm going to teach you and help you with this and help you get a better understanding of this tool and how to utilize it and how to properly use it the way that they teach. And it's basically incrementally to build that tracking drive, to build to show the dog that there's an article in here that we're going to indicate on, but also how to click them out of the box and how to get them excited whenever they see that box too. And when that head comes up, we're going to stop this. We're going to put a little negative punishment on that to get you to fight even further, to a little negative reinforcement to get you back in that box, and then positive reinforcement to keep you in that box, negative punishment whenever you are interested in something outside of that box. And then click them, be able to click to make sure that clicker is charged enough that you're going to blow off that box when you hear that click. Right. And so there's a lot that goes in there. So, and I'm looking forward to it.
Tools are pretty cool. And using them for things that they work so well for other things in the dog world, as opposed to just in the kind of competitive or military police dog work. The clack board. Any dog I have issues with surfaces, man, they're on that clack board nonstop.
Yeah.
I'll fix that escalator. I'll fix that tile. I'll fix that hardwood floor. Let's go stand on a clack board. Oh, that's not enough. Let's throw that thing in the freezer. Okay, let's put it out in the sun.
Oh, wow.
We'll get this worked out.
Well, I love that. That's because then you make it your own. You make it a science. I want to see if I have any
spice.
Yep, the
little
spice.
Cinnamon here, little cumin there,
and sometimes that's
next thing you know,
that's not good. You know, wow, look at this. This was even before.
It might not be.
This was
sometimes you got to put some
gold.
vinegar in to neutralize all the seasoning you put in and start over.
Dude, I just found a clack video of me before my gold. Hold on, let me put this up here with my yeah right here. All right, so I wonder, can I open this up? Yep.
It's a nice shiny clack.
Look at that. And push. This was before the gold too. This is so crazy. And then she's, I don't know, am I even clicking off that?
I got no sound on it, but
yeah. But we can kind of tell by the dog's body language too.
Absolutely.
This is the first time I introduced her to this clack. How
many dogs do you have?
7.
Damn.
Dude, I'll never have this many dogs ever again. Lesson learned, though.
I'm sure
Hello, Moses.
More than 4, or all you're doing is picking up poop.
Do you know what he said to me? That made me question everything. He's like, Bill, are you a hobbyist or are you a professional? And I was like, damn it, Bart.
I had one, he said to me, I had a dog at Gold School, the same dog that went to both of the Gold Schools. And I forget what the behavior was I wanted the dog to do. And I said, Bart, can I get this dog to do this? It was Joseph. No, you can't. And then, okay, I've had tons of coaching. If I'm failing or I'm genetically not prepared, that's cool. I'll deal with it. I'll figure out something else I can do. So I'm like, I said, Bart, could you get this dog to do it? Like, hey, maybe I pay a little extra. He goes, Joseph, no one can get this dog to do this.
That's what I like about him, man. Is that he'll tell the truth. And you know what? The other thing that he does that will always stick with me. And I even repeat it. He says, "Bill, let the dog do. Knock it off. Quit fucking around. Quit interfering with this dog. Let the dog do. Let the dog figure it out." And that's probably the biggest takeaway that I had learning from him, and also with Michael too. She's like, dude, just hush, shut up.
He told me in the first Gold School, he goes, you and your voice, stop telling this dog no. You think you're Ragnar Lothbrok trying to conquer the world. I do not want to hear you say no one more time in this Gold School. All your compliments will be the name of the behavior. Okay. And it worked beautifully. But yeah, I had no idea I was scaring the dogs with my voice.
Yeah, you got a hell of a voice, man. You know?
Yeah, Derek cursed me one time. Derek was like, you need to, talk a little softer for the dog. And I forget what board and train I was having issues with. And he gives me this advice. The next day I got hit with laryngitis. I'm like,
I had a mentor that would whisper to his dog all the commands. And he would tell, and the dog way across the field, man, could hear him. You know,
absolutely.
We sell them short. We sell them short with their capabilities because we do too much of the anthropomorphication, human characteristics, human expectations. And I mean, sometimes I would like to be a dog just for a day, just to see how it truly is, Wouldn't that be cool?
I'm really into 6 nipples, sometimes 8. I don't want to have to get a new wardrobe, Bill. That's what I'm saying.
Don't knock it till you try it, buddy.
Hey, man, sometimes I put my belt on, it's too tight for my stomach. I don't want it too tight for my nipples.
You kill him. Well, dude, I got it. Speaking of nipples, I need to go. No.
Hey, have a wonderful trip in Costa Rica. Congratulations on your anniversary. I'll see you in Springfield. Thanks for your time. I look forward to doing the Patreon page.
Well, and before we go, easy there, Tiger. How do people get a hold of you? And what's the best way to contact you? Are you doing you have a Gold School coming up? Is it sold out or
Gold School coming up in April?
Okay.
I should have another one later this summer. I will
Okay.
be advertising more in Springfield.
Okay.
You can contact me at Josef, Josef, at topdog.us or on my Facebook page here, Josef, Josef Scherer III.
Top Dog.
I should do more Instagram, but by the time you get done filming the dog videos and throwing it up one place, it becomes. I like training dogs, not the tech stuff as much.
Is this it right here, Josef at topdogs.us?
It is it.
Okay. And then I will share a link to your Facebook page. Awesome. Anything else that we need
Thank you, Mr. Wow.
Yeah, you're very welcome. Anything else that we didn't talk about that you'd like to mention?
I think we covered it.
I'm reading
I'll come up with some real gross stories for your Patreon page.
Well, and when you were saying about being German and your parents were folk dancers, I'm reading a really good book right now, man, and I'm almost done with it. And let me post up this book. It's the about Rudolf Diesel, the inventor of the diesel engine. And it's fascinating because he died in 1913, September 1913, went missing, and they found his body. And they believe that Kaiser Wilhelm and who were Churchill, not the Rockefellers, not Morgan. Who was the gas people? Was it Rockefellers? But I should be able to. It's not about them, but this book, man, and it gives a lot of. It's called The Mysterious Case of Rudolf Diesel, and the Genius, Power, and Deception on the Eve of World War I. And like I always thought that World War I started because of Franz Ferdinand being executed, and but this kind of goes into the years before that, and how much the world has changed dramatically in the last just 110 years. So check that. Oh, whoops! I just posted up your profile again.
My father being German with a heavy accent, he came over when he was 8. I remember being a kid watching him train the Weims and learning how to train some dog behaviors myself. And for him, he would just call, we always had female dogs. He brought them. He would always say, "Good boy." And I'd say, "Dad, it's a girl. What are you doing?" "Dad, it's a girl." And say, the dog doesn't know. He was ahead of his time. Who knew?
Yeah, you knew. I mean, I think that we can learn a lot from how they used to do things, you know. And I mean, we have a lot of stuff that we can teach as well. But yeah, check out that book, dude. It's really good. It's actually really, really good. So I posted up a link there. And then you guys join me on Saturday when I'm going to be talking to Doctor about his supplements. And
I'm excited for that one.
Yeah. And we're going to be talking about inflammation in dogs. We're going to be getting into it. I've already been talking to Dr. Robbie. He's a dear friend of mine. So we're going to be getting into that. And there's a lot of products that he offers, especially for performance-based training and how to get dogs to not just operate at the highest peak of their potential, but also how to get them to recover as quickly as possible as well.
All important stuff. And don't forget, this will help as well.
Look at this, dude. Ready?
And it tastes better than soap, Bill, just in case you're curious.
Yeah, that soap sucks, man. I always sniff. I always do the sniff test, everything. I just pop that sucker in and bit it in half and then spit it out, but the damage was done. So
when I started bringing a dog to the studio after winning Top Teacher, I got cocky and got this murder machine we'll talk to about in the next interview we do. But I had dog food there and I'd moved it for the table. I was getting the dog to the car and it was a foreign guy. I won't make fun of any nationalities or anything. But whatever he ate in his culture, he grabs some of his dog food and he's eating it like it's trail mix. He's like, "This is pretty good. You got any more?" I'm like,
I've eaten dog food before on accident.
It's not that tasty. The dog cookies are good. I hate to say it. My wife will see this and I'll be caught here later, but she'll get those little wafers and there's like no sugar. And it's like a sandwich, like an Oreo, vanilla or chocolate, but there's no sugar in it. And when she goes to sleep, I'll eat a sleeve of them. She has I'm not a big sugar fan. She's like, "Wow, the dog really likes these treats." I'm like, "Yes, he does."
He's a good boy. I like that. Before the fruit, they have the cheese chips now that are like basically made out of cheese, and they had it for dogs, dude. And I ate one, and I was like, "Damn, these are good." And so I'd buy them and I'd eat them, but now they have them for people. So we'll get into more secrets on.
We don't want you outside peeing on trees.
No, again.
All right, brother. Have a good one. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, buddy. And hold on right there. I'm going to say goodbye to you in the studio, but we'll say goodbye to everybody here. Thank you. Let's talk to you guys soon. See you.